Hey, this is Tom at Tall Clover Farm. It's about the third day of spring. Sorry about the tape on the glasses, a little mishap earlier in the week. But in the meantime, today we're doing a little bit of pruning of the raspberries, and you're welcome to join me and hopefully learn something. They're not that hard to prune, just a few rules to follow, and early spring is a great time to do it. You are now looking at the before. This is my raspberry patch, and it's woefully weedy. The grass is too high. I used to have the chickens in here and they would keep it down for me, but then the raccoons got the chickens, and so the raspberries got the best of me. Anyway, I'll show you the before so you can be encouraged when the after looks so much better. Basically, these are a mixture of half live, half dead canes, and the goal today is to remove all the dead canes and to thin out some of the new ones, and to cut back some of the new canes so you get healthier growth. This time of year it's pretty easy to tell the new growth from the dead stuff because in spring and early spring, at least in the Puget Sound area, I live on Vashon Island in Washington State, the new growth is evident by now. Whereas the dead growth, nothing's going on there. When you break it, it's crisp, crunchy, you can hear it crack, and also you can see that the wood is brown. There's no green if you scrape it. If you didn't have, if you really weren't sure, if you scrape this and there's no green or chlorophyll, then you definitely know it's last year's growth, and last year's growth should be pruned out. At least it's you get better berries if you do that, and a little healthier plant. Alright, first things first. First thing I do is I trim out the dead stuff. So this is last year's. It won't produce again. And you just go down to the bottom of the crown and just cut it off. And again, there's no life to this, you can tell. And you just clean all that out. So I'll show you what this looks like after I clean out the dead stuff. Alright, here's the area that I haven't done any pruning. And this is the area that I started. Notice how I cleaned out. There's the old stuff with the dead stuff and the new stuff. Here's a section with just the new growth. Alright, so that's the first part. Cut out all the dead stuff. So basically cut out all the dead canes down to the ground. And then also, if you have weak new canes or things that are sort of less than robust, cut them out too. It'll give you bigger, better berries on the canes that are left. This gives you an idea out of that, the first clump I did. The top white, woody canes are they're the dead canes from last year that I removed. I did remove some live canes. Here are a few. You can see they're thin, they're kind of wimpy. They'll do better if you just cut them back and let the big canes produce the berries and not waste their energy with those. So again, there's the dead ones I removed, and there's some of the thin live ones I removed below it. Boz has decided to join us. What are you doing, bud? Come on in. He is my constant companion. Gracie's inside sleeping. She's his girlfriend. She prefers the porch or a really nice leather sofa. And Boz, he dines on grass every once in a while. Okay, so part two. We cleaned out the dead canes, left the live ones, thinned out a few of the live ones that were really small and thin. And then, so the bigger ones that are left, it's our turn. Next part of the pruning is to prune the tips. And actually I do more than prune the tips. I usually go down to about 3 feet. If it's an outward, I pick an outward facing bud and prune it. So, let me give you a little idea. That's the cut. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, it'll go down. You'll get, all those will produce berries. And so that's what I do. I prune them to about 3 to 4 feet high. All right, now you're looking at the latest, phase 2, the pruning of the live canes that I reduced the height from, I didn't prune them out entirely. After I thinned out the dead canes and thinned out some of the live canes, I went back and then took the height off of them. See, you can see there's the old stuff. There's the clump I've been working on. I left them about 3 feet high, 3 feet on the outside, and then maybe on the inside about 3.5 to 4 feet, just so they get some light in the middle. And the outer canes are a little shorter, kind of like how you prune a rose bush. And they are in the rose family, so it makes sense. As I trim the tips of this year's canes that have growth on them, I want to be clear about something. People prune pretty poorly as a general rule, like where they're supposed to prune. So for instance, say you prune there. Okay, let's look at it. There's about 1 inch between where I trimmed and the growth of the new start. That whole area, this from here to here, is going to die out, and this will weaken this and you won't get anything. So when you're pruning something, don't leave this ridiculous amount of space here. Just prune it, I'd say, probably about 1/8 of an inch above the bud. So see if I can trim and shoot the photo at the same time. So basically, not too sharp, just sort of parallel to it. There. And that'll grow nicely. The top won't rot. And that's what you want to do. All right, so here is an example of one of the raspberry rows I haven't pruned, and here's the row that I just pruned. You get an idea of how much comes off of your raspberry patch when you're pruning. Also, I'm trying something else too. A friend of mine, she likes to cut hers really short, like 2 feet to the ground, maybe even 1 foot. So I'm going to experiment on part of the patch and see if that does anything for greater production of the raspberries or bigger raspberries. I'll give it a try. So experiment, play around with it. That's the pruning from 1 to 2 feet, and then right behind it I chose to do my standard 2 to 3, sometimes 4 feet, with the outer canes closest to me being shorter, the middle ones being a little taller so they have better light. I just wanted to show you again, when you cut the tips, you know, leave about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch at the most when you cut it, and you'll get a nice little sprig to the side of it where the leaf node used to be. All right, that kind of wraps up my pruning for, not my pruning, I got a whole bunch more to do, so I have to get to it. But hopefully that'll help you out. There are 2 types of raspberries. There's an everbearing that has a early crop and then a late fall crop, and then there's also a June bearing. Just for general terms, or general way to prune, if you just cut out the dead on your plants, on your canes, trim down the new stuff and thin out the weak canes, you'll pretty much be good no matter what kind of raspberry you have. You'll get 2 crops if it's ever bearing, you'll get a June crop if it's not, if it's a single bearing. All right, good luck. Plant raspberries. They're easy to grow, at least in the Pacific Northwest.